Prophet of Thought series exclusive. Prophet of Thought.
Get ready.
The Prophet of Thought series.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Prophet of Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. And tonight, got a good show for y'all tonight. Well, I say that every damn time I come on, so. But I got a good show for y'all tonight. Tonight, as y'all can see, the title right here, we're going to have Mr. Chuck Tyler live right here on T.P.O.T, and we're going to be talking about the plight of Black veterans. This is something not often spoke about, but you know, here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page, we always talk about things that other people don't talk about that much. Tonight, we're going to be focusing in on, Black veterans, the homelessness numbers of Black veterans, which is a damn shame because these brothers go out and they fight for this country. They put their lives on the line and they come back here and they can't get medical care. They can't get any financial help. A lot of them are homeless. 45% of the veterans 45% of homeless veterans happen to be Black, which is also a damn shame because, like I said, when you talk about half the homeless population, half of the homeless veteran population damn near is Black folks, there's something wrong with that. Okay, because like I said, these brothers go out and put their lives on the line for this here country, and they get back here and they ain't even got a place to stay, and because we often talk about, the military, how brothers should go in the military, and with numbers like that, with the homelessness and the lack of sufficient medical care and financial help for these brothers, it would kind of make some brothers weary because they can go off to the military and come back and have no support, have no place to live, have no money, be living on the street and so on and so forth. So, it's a double-edged sword. We often tout brothers should go into the military and become policemen and firemen and all that kind of stuff. But, when you see this kind of stuff, it kind of makes you wonder, because I'm pretty sure all those brothers out there who are veterans and homeless right now, they probably thought the same way when they signed up for the military. This was a chance for them to go make some money, become a man, learn some skills, learn a trade, get some training, and then they get back here and now they homeless. Now they living in the damn train station. After doing all of that and having all those ideas and going through the whole military process for all of those years, and now they're homeless and they have nothing. So, I mean, the brother who's coming on now, Mr. Chuck Tyler, he himself is a veteran, and I believe he was homeless at one time before. So now he gets out and he, helps other brothers, kind of find their way. And speaking of Mr. Tyler, what's good, brother Tyler?
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I was just kind of giving my audience a little bit of overview of who you are and what you do. But you're here now, so you can kind of take it away, let the audience know, what you do and who you are.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. I am a decorated U.S. Army combat veteran. I am a veteran political campaign professional. I've consulted on campaigns across the country. One of my greatest moments was being on President Obama's team in the Midwest in '08, and then in the Southwest again in 12. So, uh, grew up in Charlottesville. My dad was a cop. My mom was actually one of those switchboard operators that you remember the old time plug in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like a literal switchboard. So grew up there. Took care of my grandfather after my grandmother passed away until he died, and then joined the military and enjoyed a 10-year career.
Mm. I was I was telling the YouTube folks and the radio folks too, because we
Mhm.
broadcasting on radio and streaming on YouTube.
Of course.
And I was telling them that a lot of vets are homeless.
Yes.
Um Many of them black.
Yes.
Uh and it puzzles me because you got brothers who go out and get this training, and many of them put their lives on the line, for this country, in honor of this country, and they come back and this country doesn't give them any help. And I think that's the damn shame. Um, at at the very least, these veterans should be getting some type of help, just for the simple fact of their service alone should
Right.
make them qualify for all kinds of help. There should be no homeless veterans, okay? There should be none, okay? They shouldn't even be part of the homeless population. That's what I think. But I'm a very biased person.
I have to agree with you there. My own personal journey through homelessness was 2 years before I was able to connect with services that assisted in getting me into a home, and it's a struggle, because there's a lot of bureaucracy involved. There are a lot of red lines that you can trip over, that you can't cross. For example, there are programs that you have to show chronic homelessness for over 2 years before you can even qualify for a program. There are some programs that just simply will pay a deposit. There's some programs that will actually give first and last month's rent, try to help you with the rent. More wraparound services are those that will try to find you employment, will provide you with stipends to get work clothes if you land a job in a field where you need special shoes or special clothing. So it just all depends on your patience. Again, it took me 2 years, but it depends on your patience, your perseverance, and if you actually know how to maneuver through the bureaucracy.
Well, I want to talk about the plight the plight of many black vets. And you yourself, you said you were homeless at once.
Correct.
How does a veteran, okay, how does a veteran come back home from having a military career? How does a veteran end up homeless? How does that happen?
Many times, brother, it's going to happen because you're suffering from PTSD. It gets severe enough for you to lose any type of hope for civilian employment. It can destroy your relationship. You can become estranged from your family, and without any source of income at that point, you can't afford to have a home. You're out on the street. Um, if you're trying to access VA services, it depends on what type of discharge you get, um, and then you'll have to wait months before any type of decision is made for disability from the VA. So there are barriers um, on the service side of taking care of veterans. The sentiment side of taking care of veterans is there. Like, people want to help, but they just don't know how. And one of the best ways to do it is to vote, is to go out next Tuesday and vote your values. If you value veteran lives, particularly Black veterans who are at the bottom of services being delivered by VA and other related um, organizations, then vote. Vote your values. Vote people who, and this starts at a county level, Prophet. This starts with the veteran service officer on a county level. Make sure that your board of supervisors for your county is adequately staffing that county veteran office. Make sure that the veteran services officer is vetted and understands how to guide veterans through the bureaucracy that exists. So there are immediate fixes, starting next Tuesday. But like I said, the sentiment side is there. People care, but the services side just hasn't matched up with that sentiment.
Yeah, I've noticed that, especially when you talk about politics, the political arena, and politicians. You always hear them say, support the troops, support the troops, support the troops. You always hear that as long as the troops are overseas.
Correct.
Okay. You never hear them talk about the troops that come back. You never
Correct.
hear them talk about the troops who are veterans and are homeless and need
Correct.
medical help and need mental health services. You never hear them talk about that.
No.
They're always talking support the troops as long as the troops are overseas somewhere. Okay. But as soon as they get back here, they're never mentioned. It's like they don't give a damn about them as while they're here. They only care about them when they're over there because they're like a political prop. They're a talking point or whatever you want to call it. And I think that that's a major problem because see, once military personnel gets back here, okay, because it's not like they're homeless when they're over there. They're not over there homeless. They're not over there hungry. They're not over there, without, it's when they get back here. That's when they're homeless. That's when
Exactly.
that's when they don't have anywhere to turn to. And you spoke of PTSD. I mean, here is where they're not getting treated. Here is where, like you said, they're getting isolated from their families.
Yep.
They don't have an income, and they're shut out of places. And there's these programs that take 2 years for them to get any help. Here is where it's happening. So I can't even listen to these politicians when they start talking about the troops because the troops over there, they don't really need our support. They have the support of all their military brothers and sisters around them.
Correct.
They need support when they get back here and they're out of the military and they're not a quote unquote active soldier anymore. Especially when you talk about the brothers, because see, there's a lot of brothers in the military, and there's also a lot of brothers who are veterans. And I
Yes.
said before, like 45% of the homeless veterans are Black. They're Black, right?
Correct.
So you have all these brothers who are veterans and they're homeless. They're living on the street. They're living in the train station, man. They're walking down the street with shopping carts.
Yeah,
So it's like,
exactly. And it's a disproportionate number based on the percentage of black and brown people serving in uniform. And we see this bear out. Um, I was recently at a training in Philadelphia, and we see these numbers bear out and are quantifiable in so many different aspects of our society. We represent 12% of the population, yet we represent 55% of the incarcerated population. We represent 45% of homeless veterans. We represent, I believe the number was like 42 or 43% um, with life-threatening diseases like diabetes and hypertension and heart disease. You know, we're only 12% of the population, and then less so in the military. I think we may crack 10, but we seem to be so disproportionately represented when the outcomes are adverse.
yeah, I at the top of the stream, because I've been at this media stuff for a while,
Outstanding.
and we often talk about, we talk about young brothers in the ghetto, young brothers in the hood, and we talk about how they should, join the military and things of that nature. Yeah, we talk
Yeah,
about it.
no,
And when you hear these kind of stories and you hear your story, you know, I don't want brothers to be discouraged because they hear, brother go over there, he's in the military, for 10 years or however many years, he comes back, he gets here, he's got PTSD, it goes undiagnosed. So now, he's, like you said, he's isolated from everybody, he's isolated from his family, he doesn't have no income, and the next thing you know, he's sleeping at the train station.
exactly.
So I don't want brothers to get discouraged, from that, because I still stand on, it wouldn't be a bad idea for more brothers to, join the military. I
Exactly.
still stand on that. I still
Yeah, and
stand on that.
you could do it the right way.
Yes.
You can take some of that income, and instead of buying the latest model of whatever, is coming out of Detroit, you can put aside some of that money. You can look long term. You can plan not just to hop in the military, hit a lick and then hop out. You could plan for a productive career. Think about what you want to be doing 10, 15, 20 years down the road. I'm with Veterati right now, which is a mentoring um, organization for transitioning veterans. And these are, what's ironic, these are the flip side of my story. These are career military personnel who are now getting out after 20, 25 years and have no clue what to do. So, because my expertise is in the political arena, I've had much success in talking to the transitioning veterans who are interested in continuing to serve their country and their community through public office. It's been a very rewarding experience for me to be a part of Veterati. I get to set aside the situation that I came out of, and I get to assist others. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So what do you have going on? Because I've seen a couple of your videos, and for those of you who want to get in contact with Mr. Tyler, you look down in the description box. You'll see his information. You want
Thank
to
you.
hit him up, and you want to get him to speak or something like that. You hit him up. The information's down there, right next to where it says check out Mr. Chuck Tyler here. You hit that link and it'll take you right to his About Me page, and you can schedule him to speak at
Thank
your
you.
events, speak at your schools, whatever. Because that's how we do it here.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. So won't we talk about a little bit what you're active in politically, far as homeless veterans go. What do you got going, right now, far as homeless veterans?
That's a
What do you
great
got going?
question. I am currently working with the Minority Veterans of America. It's a nationwide organization. We are training up to become veteran service officers so that we can be direct links between homeless veterans and services that they require to move them out of homelessness. Minority Veterans of America is a new organization. However, they've caught fire. They understand their mission to help minority veterans, people of color, Black and brown veterans, LGBTQ veterans, transgender veterans, veterans who fall through the cracks, so to speak, veterans who are discarded by mainstream agencies. And so we're in this fight, and I'm very pleased to be a part of that organization.
Is that Let me ask you this. Is that a thing? Far as minority veterans, black veterans, do you find that black veterans have to fight a little harder for services than say a white veteran? I mean, is that a thing?
It's funny you mentioned that, Prophet, because I remember my dad, he was a cop and had to work twice as many shifts and pull twice as many hours on the job as his white peers to be considered half as good on the force. This has traditionally been a thing, as you know. And while we recognize it as the norm, it doesn't necessarily have to impede us. Does that make sense? It gives us an opportunity to rise to the occasion, to gain those skills and to gain knowledge, skills, and abilities that can help the next brother that comes along, the next sister that comes along.
So, in your point of view, because I know you're active in this, are there any politicians that you know of? Because we got election day coming up in like 6 days. Do you see any politician that have this as part of their platform, like veteran issues, the homelessness, the PTSD, the lack of mental health services? Do you know of any politicians who bring this with their platform?
So I know one politician in particular, and I happen to be part of an organization right now helping her to get elected here in the middle of Pennsylvania. We have to take a step back from what are we going to do for the veterans that come home. Let's take a step back and say, how do we prevent them from getting deployed in the first place? How do we how do we work through diplomacy, development, and promote the right kind of democracy around the world so that we don't have to deploy? And when you look at more progressive candidates like Jess King, like Connor Lamb, like Gil Cisneros, like Beto O'Rourke, then you're looking at candidates who value projecting strength through peace in an authentic way. If I'm in Congress right now cutting funds to the State Department, I'm giving you a sense of my values. I'm giving you a sense of, okay, so I don't value the diplomatic corps. I don't value going to a country, sitting down at a table and discussing our differences. When I cut diplomatic programs and funding for the Department of State, and I bloat the Department of Defense's budget to well over $750 billion, then I'm expressing my values. I'm expressing, oh, we need to punch first and then talk about it later. We need to fund all of my defense contractor friends before we take care of the troops. this past Congress brags about the 2.4% increase in soldier pay. That is the largest increase in 8 years. When we look at the beginning of President Obama's administration with the 3.4%, with a 3.2%, where we were looking at 3% increases that were above and beyond the minimum that is authorized by law just to keep pace with inflation, they're not really talking about anything. Your budget, Prophet, your budget is $750 billion, and yet a sliver of that goes to actually pay the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who go do the damn thing. You're speaking through money about your values.
So do you have any political aspirations? You plan on running for office anytime soon?
So I'm gonna have to let a little bit of my arrogance out here, Prophet. I enjoy being the kingmaker. I don't necessarily have to be the king. I enjoy being in the field with the volunteers, with the organizers and mobilizers. I enjoy that aspect of political life.
Oh, so you like being the man behind the man, huh?
Exactly, right?
Well, there's a lot of people like that. I mean, all good people who do great things have great people behind them. So,
Appreciate
you
that.
know, I'm not shocked at that at all. So, I know that you are involved with moveon.org
Correct.
because I've did a little research on you. And how's that going thus
So
far?
Move On is an amazing organization, Prophet, that if people want an entry into um, being politically involved, they provide it on every level. They allow you to just do things as simply as text voters and remind them to go out to vote. You can host events to go knock doors and make phone calls. They offer leadership positions for those dedicated volunteers who come in and either already have a background in some type of activism and advocacy, all the way up to helping you develop that resume as a volunteer so that you can start to achieve those leadership opportunities. I have nothing but good things to say about Move On, Kate and Leah and Anna, all the great people who lead that organization and give others opportunities to become leaders.
Yeah, because I mean, I had a lot of military people. I never went to the military myself, but
Hmm.
I had a lot of military people in my family, brothers,
Outstanding.
uncles, and I mean, none of them ever ended up homeless,
Hmm.
but they came home, they got really, really good jobs because of their training, in the
Yeah.
military and stuff like that. But one thing I can say this about one of them, my uncle, when he came back from the military, he was different. And I think he had PTSD, but this was many, many years ago, and it wasn't really being diagnosed. They just,
Right.
just labeled you as crazy, and that was the end of it.
Exactly.
And he would do crazy things. He would do crazy, crazy things. And yeah, we just thought he was like nuts. But you look back on it now, that it was PTSD. I mean, he's dead and gone
Absolutely.
now, but you know it was something, there was something going on there due to, what he was going through, when he was in the military and whatnot. And I think that what happens is, especially with us as Black folks, we forget that we are part of the machine that makes this country move, especially when you talk about the military. Because this is something I always tell my wife. I'm like, because we're back and forth to New York City, we ride through, ghettos and so parts of Black America that are on the lower end of the socioeconomical scale.
Right.
And there's no stores there, there's no jobs there, There's no
Right.
opportunities there, but there's two things that are always there: a liquor store and a military recruiting office. Okay,
Exactly.
that's something that I have always noticed for a very, very long time. There could be nothing else near these neighborhoods, but there's always a liquor store and a military recruiting office. So
Right.
there are your options. You either become a drunk, okay, and throw your life away, or you join the military. I mean, that's how I always saw it. Now, what's your take on that? What do you think when you hear that? What do you think when you hear that? Like, I don't
I
know. Go
think
ahead.
I think back to a buddy I had in basic training. He was from West Virginia, and big strapping brother, right? Could crank out 80, 90 push-ups, no problem. And he was in basic training because in West Virginia, he was telling us that there were two ways to get out of West Virginia. Three, if you count um, dying in a coal mine. He said, but the two ways he knew were to play football so that you could get picked up by a team and just be out of there, or the military. And since he had blown out his knee, he was still able to pass the physical test to get into the military, and that's why he was there, making us look really bad, brother. I mean, he could push it out. He could do some push-ups and ran like the wind. But that was his ticket out. He knew what he had to do, and he had that determination and drive that set an example. He knew what he had to do. I think I look at someone like him, and I think we play at things. I know for a while I played at the military because I was 19 years old, and they ended up sending me to Germany for my first deployment. And so for 2 years, I played at the military. I'm 19. I'm in a country where I can drink, I can travel, had few responsibilities. But it was that first combat deployment that really settled me, that made it all real, I guess is what I would call it. It was like, oh, so we need to be about the business of soldiering. This is what it's all about. So I say all that to say we play at a lot of different things. We can look at those two options and make that assumption. I'm either going to drink or I'm either going to join the military, and I think it's a statement on communities when we are that myopic. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
we have so much talent and we have so many opportunities. Why isn't somebody coming out and learning how to code? Why isn't somebody coming out and learning a trade or anything like that so that they can bring that type of economic boost to that community and provide those opportunities? I think we need to have that conversation among ourselves and figure out whether or not we're going to settle and continue to settle for those choices, those that dearth of choices, um, because it's 2018 and people don't seem to be holding back anymore how they feel about black and brown people. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it's it doesn't come as a shock because I kind of figured this. It was ramping up before Mr. Trump got elected, and I knew once he got elected, and because the way he is, I knew he would be the way he is, and he sets the tone. So what he's done is people who were living under their rocks, during the Obama administration, he has given them oxygen. So now they're coming out, and because he's pretty much made it pretty clear how he feels about everyone who anyone of black or brown hue, anyone who disagrees with him. He's pretty much made it loud and clear. So he kind of
Very
sets the
much so.
tone. Yeah, he sets the tone. So I mean, I'm not surprised that people are going around, and they're extra racist, more racist than they probably normally would be. Now they're extra
Exactly.
racist.
Right?
So
They supersized.
yeah. So I'm not shocked at all.
Exactly.
But
And
it's go
go
ahead.
ahead,
Go
sir.
ahead. No, what I was gonna say is, as far as politically, I think often what they do with the military is they play, the military is like a political football, because I
It
truly
very much
believe,
so is.
yeah, I truly believe that most people who sit in office don't give a damn about those boys over there fighting. That's just my belief. They don't give a damn about those boys over there fighting. They're just something they can kind of, get some applause for. When they say, "Oh, God bless our troops," that's an applause line. So
Exactly. Wrapping yourself
yeah,
in the flag.
yes, yes.
I'm gonna give you a very relevant example of this. So I'm sitting in a district where we've created an organization that comprises of veterans who support a progressive candidate. And the reason why we support this progressive candidate is one of her planks is simply to end the endless wars we seem to find ourselves in. I made mention earlier that we need to do more than just simply take care of soldiers when they come home. We need to figure out a way to curtail those deployments, those wartime deployments. And she has literally made that one of her planks to end endless wars that we find ourselves in, that we seem to be wasting our national treasure by deploying over and over again. So there's an organization of veterans who support this particular progressive candidate, and it's based on values. So her opponent, her opponent had to cobble together his own veteran support, and there was a debate last night where about 15 of veterans like myself who supported the progressive candidate appeared at the debate. We were in the audience, and the other side was able to bring a World War II veteran in. But what we did was we crossed that aisle and we went over to those seats that were reserved for our opponent's guests, and we shook hands with that World War II veteran. Because in my point of view, he made it possible for us to serve. He was part of that greatest generation. He wore that uniform. He defended freedom as he knew it, which allowed the continuation of service to our country in that fashion. So when it comes to authentically recognizing the sacrifice that men and women make when they volunteer to wear the uniform for our country versus the feckless pandering of politicians who will trot veterans out to get that applause line, to wrap themselves in the flag. Choices are clear. Choices are very clear. Um, a president who cared about veterans, who cared about the military, would not be poised to send 5,000 to our own border in some show of force. He would not be talking about sending as many as 15,000 within our own country. Where, and I heard this on NPR earlier today, you're going to have a situation where you're sending black and brown people to the border who speak English. They are going to be pitted against black and brown people who speak Spanish, who only want an opportunity to come into this country and be black and brown people who can speak English and Spanish.
Yeah. Well, with that, I mean, me personally, me personally, I don't believe that the military should be used um, in that manner. I always thought that there was something that kept that from happening. I guess maybe I had misread the literature, but I didn't think. Yeah, I didn't think that troops were allowed to be deployed on on American soil, to keep people from coming in. I didn't know that the troops were. I thought that's what Border Patrol was for. Yeah, I thought that was their job. I didn't know that was the military's job too. Um, but when we talk about like veterans, right? Oftentimes, because I know a few veterans, I know a few veterans through media, and I know some veterans in real life.
Mhm.
And the ones I talk to in real life that I know, and even some of my brothers, I used to talk to them, because they've been, they were out of the military for quite a while, and they
Yes.
said the biggest problem they had was, they felt useless, because they had been in the military for so long. One of my uncles, he was in the military for like 25 years. I have a nephew who was in there for 20 years, and they said their biggest problem is, when they come home, they feel useless. But me, I have a solution for that. Uh, on these media airwaves, we often talk about black society. We talk about the ghettos and the hood and the killing and how the streets aren't safe and all that kind of stuff and how we need to police ourselves. What I propose is some of those brothers who are coming out of the military with that training, with that discipline, you know what I'm saying? These are our brothers who we can have on our streets in those crazy neighborhoods where fools is going crazy. Okay. Because these brothers have the discipline for it, they have the temperament for it, they have the training for it. So I propose let's get these brothers, these ex-Navy, ex-Army, ex-Marine, ex-Air Force brothers. We can have these brothers watching our streets. We can have these brothers taking care of these streets. That's something that I've always thought was a good idea, especially when you hear people say, "Oh, we need to police ourselves. We need to police ourselves." These veterans coming out of the military, they seem like the best people for the job to me, or am I delusional here?
So your premise would work if the purpose of law enforcement was indeed to enforce law.
Yeah, right.
Um, I don't know where else to go with that because um, law enforcement is to protect property, and if I don't have a vested interest in that property, then I'm not going to police it. And I think back to the Black Panther Party, the original Black Panther Party, and how they were attempting to take care of their own and branded as terrorist. And that seems to be a label in the 21st century that not only sticks, but it's really hard to scrape off. And it's really easy to apply it to everyone except white guys who go into synagogues and shoot them up, or white guys who go into movie theaters and shoot them up, or people who go into schools and shoot them up. They need mental health services. They're not terrorists.
Mm. Well, all I know is brothers who are veterans and brothers who are homeless and they don't have anywhere to stay, and they have this undiagnosed PTSD and other things, they have depression and all that kind of stuff, you know I think that the only way they're really going to get any real help is the help is going to be trickled down. They're going to start off. They're going to start off with helping mostly white folks, the white veterans first, and the brothers will get some residual. Because that's usually how things work. I say that a lot. And nothing ever happens. Nothing difference is never made until it affects white people, and every now and then black people will get a little bit of the trickle down residual. And I think that's the way it's going to be for these veterans. Okay, when they
Here's
when they
what.
go into mass legislation
Mhm.
protecting homeless white veterans, maybe the brothers will get some of that trickle down residual.
Well, okay, so Here's what I propose. I propose that veterans who care start by getting that VSO training, that veteran service officer training. Start there, because then we become empowered to be, like I said earlier, be that link between our homeless brothers and sisters who served and the services that they need to get out of that situation. If we take that first step, then I feel as if we can be viewed more legitimately. Does that make sense? We
Mhm.
actually can start to make a show of force and say, okay, we're serious about this now. We're done talking. We're gonna start taking these classes because they're free. You take these classes, I'm gonna get certified as a veteran services officer. I'm gonna set myself up right here, either on the street or at a American Legion, VFW, anywhere where I see homeless brothers and sisters who served, and get them the services they need. Start there. Once we can build that critical mass, then I think, just like any exercise in building power, we have more power together than people who have power over us. It's just a matter of coming together.
Very true. Very true. I think that often, man, because I'll say this again. I mean, we never really talk about this stuff, man. I mean, we never really talk about it, and I include myself in it too.
Hmm.
I never, we never really talk about, like black veterans. We talk about a lot of black folk stuff. I know because I talk about black folk stuff every week. So we always talk about black folk stuff, but we never talk about the brothers who went and served. We never talk
Right,
about the brothers who are over there serving right now.
right.
The brothers who are dying over there right now. We never talk about the brothers who come home, with legs blown off. Because one thing I always say, not everybody who goes to war dies.
Right.
Sometimes brothers come back, they're missing an arm, they're missing
Yep.
legs, they have brain damage, they have all this
Yep.
kind of stuff going on. And normally, when we see these commercials on TV talking about vets, none of those vets look like me. Okay, they don't show a lot of black vets, man. They just don't. And I know there's a lot of us in the military coming
Hmm.
home messed up, need money, need a house, need medical care. They need to get their benefits and all that, and they suffering. I mean, I go to New York City, man, and I see these people on the streets, man. I
Hmm.
go to Pennsylvania, I see these people on the streets, man. Down here in the South, I see these people on the streets, and I know most of those brothers is veterans. I
Hmm.
know they veterans sleeping on a park bench, okay, sleeping underneath the train trestle, sleeping in the damn park. I know a lot of those brothers that I see are veterans. I know they are, man. I know they are. And we need to talk about this stuff, and we need to bring some attention to it. Cause guess what? When we talking black stuff, guess what? These black veterans, they're part of black stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're part of the black stuff. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that with all this other crap we talk about all the time. They are part of the black stuff.
You
Okay.
make a perfect point there. You've got the voice, and I know your audience have the drive and the determination to make change. So with your voice, um, tell your audience what to do. Are they writing letters to the editor? Are they voting next week? Are they dragging a veteran friend that they know to service training? Are they logging in online to find veteran service officer training online? What are they doing from this point on to make a difference? What's that one first step that they can make, Prophet? That's what they need to be conceptualizing right now.
Absolutely. I agree, man. I agree. And we're gonna talk about this stuff more often because I know brothers who are veterans, and actually one of my brothers, he was gonna supposed to come on the stream tonight. I don't know what
Hmm.
happened. He's a military veteran as well. He's probably caught up at work or something, but yeah, I know veterans, I and
Outstanding.
and they tell me, they tell me about these things, man. They tell me
Yep.
how they had to fight for their benefits. They had to fight, you know, to get certain services. And, you
Right.
know, and it's not right, man. Because like I said, I don't think there should be any homeless veterans. You don't went over there and put your ass on the line for this country. You should get first dibs on all kinds of stuff because you went over there and you put your butt on the line. So when you come back over here, I mean, the path should be cleared. You know, they should be calling out veterans from the top. You know, whoever's a veteran, stand up because you getting served first. You know, so that's how I think it should be in a perfect world. But I mean, it's crazy because when you think about how politics, man, affect us, you know. And I know these brothers and sisters who go over there, man, and they fight for these said politics, man, and they come back, man, and these politics don't do anything for them, man. Nothing. Lesser than they do for the average schmuck like me. Okay, the average schmuck like me, they probably get less of a shot at it than me because once, like I said before, once they get over here, nobody cares about them. They care about them, you know, to mention them when they're over there. Once they get here, man, they don't care about these folks anymore. They don't care if they're homeless. They don't care if they're sick. They don't care if they got PTSD. They don't care if they don't have a job. They don't care about any of that. If they got something to eat, nothing. I mean, there's a lot of shelters, but most of the shelters that are out there are for what? They got shelters for women and children. Why isn't there more veteran shelters? Okay. Why isn't there more veteran homes where these brothers don't have to be on the street? They can go to a veteran shelter just for veterans where they can go in there and get employment training, 3 hots and a cot, clothes, if they need medical attention, if they need mental health attention. Why do you think there's not more of those around this country?
It's the bureaucracy. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Prophet. You spend your money where your values are. It I can't add anything more to that. You opened up this segment with exactly that statement. You know, folks join the military and they go overseas and they get all kinds of kudos and recognition, but when they come home, you know, it's crickets. We're suffering under an administration right now who the president can go on a multi-state stumping tour for more of the same and can't find the time to just take a quick trip overseas to talk to some troops. So, you know, with that, I'm gonna end there, and I'm gonna end with that challenge that we mentioned earlier. Um, what are your audience members gonna do?
True, true. Well, I appreciate you coming on, brother. I do.
Thank you so much
Um,
for this, Prophet, for
oh,
everything you're doing. Let me know
oh,
offline
absolutely.
what I can do to help out. But I
Oh
really
yeah, I
appreciate
mean,
this
I
opportunity.
have I have your information now, so you know you'll be hearing from me again, and I want to bring you back, man. You know, I want to get because, like I said, I have a few military veterans in my in my circle of influence, and it would be
Outstanding.
nice to get all you guys on the show at once, you know, to kind of talk about things, you know, to catch up. Maybe after the election, you know, after all the politics
Absolutely.
stuff goes away and we see
Whew.
what's going on, we'll yeah, we'll do
Six
that.
days.
Maybe we'll do that in a couple of weeks, man. You know, I'll get you and a couple other veterans that I know, and you know, we'll all sit around and we'll compare to give our thoughts on what's going to happen going forward. You know, as far as
Outstanding.
politics,
Yep.
veteran policies and all that kind of stuff. All right.
I
So,
appreciate you, brother. Thank you so
Brother
much.
Tyler, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, y'all, if y'all want to hit up Brother Tyler, look down there in the old description box. You can hit that link and it'll take you right to his About Me page. You can book him. You can get in contact with him. You can schedule him to make some speeches, whatever you want to do. All his information to be there. Just look down in the description box beneath this video. Hit that link, and you got a direct line to Mr. Tyler. Hey, Brother Chuck Tyler, I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming on, man. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
so
brother.
much.
You got it, man. Peace. Yeah. So just got off the line with Brother Chuck Tyler, former military man, veteran. He does a lot to get veterans off the street. You know, that's kind of his mission. He's also involved with politics. He's one of those people who's on the ground doing the damn thing, man, because he's been through it. You know, he's been through it. You know, he came out the military after being in there for like a decade or so. He came home and, you know, eventually he was homeless. You know, he was one of those people that we talked about tonight. He was homeless, you know, so now that he's got himself on his feet, he actually goes out and help other homeless veterans, you know. And the crazy thing is, like I said before, man, there's a lot of us black folks on the street. You know, them people when you walking down the street and they pushing a shopping cart with a bunch of junk in it and they talking to themselves. A lot of those people are veterans. Yeah, a lot of those folks are veterans. A lot of those brothers that you see sleeping on those park benches, a lot of those brothers you see sleeping in the train station, a lot of those brothers you see sleeping on the sidewalk, a lot of those brothers, man, are brothers who was in the service to this goddamn country. And now they sleeping on the sidewalk. And I meant what I said. There should be more veteran shelters for those brothers to live in. There should be. Because guess what? They actually went across and fought and died and came home with one arm and one leg and half a head and all this kind of nonsense. And now they're back here and this country don't want to do shit for them. Not a damn thing. I've talked to brothers who can barely get their damn benefits. I've talked to brothers who've had to wait 4 and 5 weeks to see a damn doctor. Why? Why? And these is brothers who, like I said, homeless, unemployed, they hungry, all that. So trust me, when you walking down the street or you driving in your car and you see that brother standing on the side of the road with that sign, I work for food, or I need $1, or whatever he's saying, guarantee more than likely that brother is a veteran. Guarantee. Because like half the homeless veterans that you see, almost half, like 45%, are black. They're black. Even though we only about 13, 14, 15% of the population, somewhere between 45 and 50% of the homeless veterans are black. Yeah, they're black. Like I said, so think twice when you see these people, man, on the side of the road. Because a lot of times, man, these people have done they have done things right. They have done the right thing. Like I said, they went off, joined the service, came back home, couldn't get shit done for them. Now they stand on the side of the highway with a damn cup, waiting for somebody to pull up and give them $1. Because, see, a lot of times that's what this goddamn country does to people. It chews them up and spits them out. This country don't care that you went over there and got your arm blowed off for them. The country don't care about that shit, man. It doesn't care at all. That's why I said, and brothers come home, they don't give a shit about them. They'll big up them long as they making a political speech and talking about them while they on the other side of the world. But once they get back here, notice you don't hear them say shit about them. They don't say shit about those boys at all. And they damn sure don't say shit about the black soldiers. Hell no. Not a damn thing. Especially black veterans. They could care less. They can care less. But with all of that, I still think that the military, police officer, firemen, things like that, Coast Guard, whatever, whatever. I still think that those are viable options for young black men. Because young black men need some outlets, because not all young black men are going to become basketball players, football players, baseball players. It's only like 1 out of every 700,000, 750,000 that's going to do that. So you're probably better off if you're planning on trying to be LeBron James. Your realistic backup plan need to be, if it ain't college or some type of trade school. Okay, if school ain't for you, that's cool. You might want to try going to the military, man. You never know. You go in there, you learn some skills, learn how to be a man, get away from your black ass mama because she ain't doing nothing but ruining you anyway. Get away from her. Get away from these hoes and get on over into the military and learn something. And who knows, you may just come back as a real man. Who knows? A real man who can build some real shit. Who knows? You know? All I think is the best thing for these young brothers to do when they go off to the military is have a plan, like brother Tyler said, have a plan and kind of plan your life while you in there. Plan what you're gonna do when you get out, because it's always better to have a plan anyway. I mean, that's when anything, whether it be a job, whether it be school, the military, whatever you're doing, it's always better to have a plan. So you plan your life so when you get out, maybe you won't become one of those brothers sleeping in the back of McDonald's on the ground, one of those brothers sleeping in the park on a bench. Okay. Now, not to say that this place should be doing that. This place shouldn't be doing more for these brothers and sisters who done went over there and fought and died and all this kind of nonsense. But you know, a little bit of planning goes a long way. Goes a long way, brothers. That's all I'm saying. So just think it over. Think it over. Because guess what? A lot of times, and I've talked about this before. You hear, like I said, we've often touted brothers joining the police department, fire department, joining the military. And oftentimes you hear, oh, I don't want him to go to the military. I don't want him to become a cop because he might get shot. He might get killed. The country's at war and also kind of nonsense. And you hear this shit, but meanwhile, this kid is living in a neighborhood where 24 people just got shot yesterday. So oftentimes what happens is, I think a lot of times these young boys, they get deterred from doing some shit that would better their life because, you know, they got this old mama hovering over them, telling them not to do it because they might get killed. Then he walk out the house tomorrow and get shot in the head by some fool. So, I mean, don't fall into that trap either. Yeah, don't fall into that trap either. Okay, don't let your mama be telling you not to go through the shit because she's scared you're gonna get killed. She ain't scared you're gonna get killed because she was scared you was gonna get killed. She wouldn't have your ass living in Chicago. She wouldn't have your ass living in Detroit. She wouldn't have your ass living in those old fucked up neighborhoods if she really cared whether or not you got killed. Okay? Think about what I'm saying to you, young fellas, because this is your life, not hers. If she really cared about whether or not you got killed, she wouldn't have you living there. She just wouldn't. So her saying, oh, I don't want him to go to the military because he might get killed is bullshit. She don't want you to go to the military, man, because she wants your black ass around her to help her survive, to help her drink beer, smoke cigarettes, and smoke crack and chase dicks. That's what she wants you around for. Now, I know y'all listen to old X, and X is really biased about these old mamas. Yeah, I am. And you know why? Because I know they ruin you. I know they ruin you, young guys, man. I know your old mamas ruin you. Your old mama will keep you from going to the military. Your old mama keep you from becoming a fireman or a cop. Or, yeah, your old mama will be dead set against it. And the crazy thing is, I don't know why. And like I said, her excuse will be, oh, I don't want him to get killed. But she got you living in fucking Chicago. She got you living in Detroit. You understand? She got you living in Baltimore. She got you living in St. Louis. But she's worried about you getting killed. Does that even make any sense? What sense does that make? So, young men, take your life in your own hands, man, and do what you need to do for you. That's all I can say. Do what you need to do for you. Quit listening to your old mama. She don't know shit. Trust me, she doesn't. She don't know shit. Why you think it's 9 of y'all? If she knew anything, it wouldn't be 9 of y'all. It wouldn't be 9 of you, especially 9 of you, and y'all all got the same. Y'all all got the same name. All y'all name is Richard, and you say, "Damn, how the hell do you tell y'all apart?" Because all y'all have different last names: Richard Brown, Richard Ramirez, Richard Rabinowitz, Richard Wilson. So don't listen to her, man. When it comes to your life, young man, do not. Do what's best for you. Okay? Maybe old mama get lucky and some man might find a black ass. Then she don't have to rely on you to stick around and take care of her by selling drugs, knocking old ladies in the head, and robbing liquor stores. You understand? You understand? But anyway, this is gonna be a short show tonight, y'all. I just want to bring the brother up here, because he had hit me up and he was like, X, I want to get up here and talk a little veteran, black veteran stuff. So I decided to do that. Now, tomorrow on DXL, gonna be a good show tomorrow, y'all, because tomorrow we're gonna be talking about when a black man gets fed up. That's right, when a black man gets fed up. And boy, we got a hot panel for y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna have Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson gonna be up on there. My man Q Butter, the Info Man, gonna be up on there. Obsidian gonna be on there. Nagone gonna be on there. I'm gonna have LAR on there. And maybe a few surprise guests. And I'm also going to have a surprise female guest too. So it's going to be a hot panel. It's going to be a heavy panel. All the brothers going to be up on there tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to have Obsidian. I'm going to have Nagone. I'm going to have O'Shea, my man Q Butter, Info Man, Jay Shine will probably be up on there too. LAR, probably Black Ram, and a few others. So make sure you have your black behinds here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page, home of DXL. Like I said, tonight, gonna be a short show. We only rock out for an hour tonight. Plus, I'm kind of tired, man. I did a lot of work today, y'all. I was tired as hell. My goodness. But I wanted to bring the brother on, but I did want to come and get at y'all with this tonight. You know what I mean? So go ahead and, if you're feeling generous, go ahead and throw a few coins in the bucket. Right here. Right there. You see right here? See right here? See it coming up right there? If you're feeling generous, throw a few coins in the bucket. It's always appreciated. And if you're feeling generous with your likes, throw a few likes in the bucket as well, right down here. Because I know how y'all get real stingy on them likes, boy. Boy, y'all stingy on them likes. Y'all will give up $1 before y'all give up a like. Yeah, if you're feeling generous, put a few likes in there. A few likes in this bucket, a few coins in this bucket, and we all good. So this is what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to get on down there to Prophet of Thought series on Facebook. That's right. Prophet of Thought, one word, series, next word, on Facebook. It's a community page. Get on down there, follow the page, like the page, share the page. There's always something good going on down there. You can catch up with me down there. You can leave me a message if you want to. I always get back within a day or so. Also, get on down there to the T.P.O.T. bandwagon page on Facebook. The T.P.O.T. bandwagon page on Facebook. That's a personal page. You actually can send that page a friend request. I'll make sure that request gets confirmed immediately. And while you're doing that, swing on over to the Prophet of Thought series fan group page on Facebook. That's right. The Prophet of Thought series fan group page on Facebook is about close to 3,000 members down there now. With your help, I can get it to 3,000. Let's get it done. There's always some stuff going on down there because it's a fan group page. I can't believe that many people follow my shit. I can't believe it. I am humbled and honored. But get on down there, request to be a member. You guaranteed to get accepted. If you don't get accepted, write me. I'll make sure they accept your ass. Trust me. They don't accept you, write me. I'll make sure they accept you. Yeah, get on down there, check it out. There's always some good stuff going on down there. Like I always say, it's a fan group page. So You ain't got to just listen to OX talk shit all the time. There's other people down there talking shit as well. So go ahead and check out the old Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's right, Proper Thought on Instagram. Go ahead, give us a follow. You guaranteed to get a follow back. And also, y'all know what's coming now. You need to get on down there to Twitter. The handle is at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. Go ahead, follow us on Twitter, because if you don't, I will haunt your damn dreams for the next 5 years. So get on down there to the old T.P.O.T Media, to the Twitter page. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. And like I keep saying, there's a new T.P.O.T website coming out. It's going to be hot-horrific when it comes out. As soon as it come, I will be letting you know. So once again, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank my moderators, always up there doing what they supposed to do. And I also want to thank you for tuning in, watching us, spending some time with us. And also, I want to thank my guest of honor, Brother Chuck Tyler, for coming on and dropping some pearls of wisdoms about what's going on with the Black veterans, cause when we get on this meeting, we talk about this Black stuff. I'll say this again. Those Black veterans, they're part of the Black stuff, and we need to be talking about them more. So make sure you have your Black behinds here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, for the T.P.O.T Media DXL broadcast on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You know. So with that, I will leave you with 3 words. Like I always do, open your minds. And we are out of here, y'all.
The Prophet of Thought series.
Peace, folks. Only from T.